Well, hello there. I am Wanderplate, and today we are going to have a look-see at the Druid Animal Oracle, working with the sacred animals of the Druid tradition, written by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gomm, and illustrated by Will Worthington. I've had this deck, I think, for probably over a year, and I have worked a lot with it. And I want to say that I got it about a few months before like fully making the decision to join OBOD and start the work on the Bardic grade, which I am nearing the completion of. I mean, you're never fully done working with that, but I'm nearing the completion of the course, so I'm very excited. And I will say, if you are someone who has joined OBOD or are doing anything related to OBOD, having this deck is fantastic because the lessons literally reference this oracle, and it is filled with so much lovely information. So once again, beautiful. Awen, Awen, from the depths we bring it. Lovely ribbon. Of course, we know that blue is my fave, so I'm loving this blue. So right off the bat, the box, gorgeous. Pull it right on out. We'll set that over there. We will have a gander at the book nearing the end. So I'll just set the book over here. Included in the deck, you get, and yours will not look like this, you will get a lovely like mat that features two of the spreads included in the book. I colored mine because of who I am as a person. Just give you a little peek at that, putting my own symbolism into the spreads and what I want to do with it. So it's very personalized to me. I often feel like when I view my colored pencils as magical tools that I have infused a lot of my energy into. So when I mark things with them, that feels almost like a meditative act and where I'm putting my energy into it. So I really personalized the mat here, but of course you do not have to do that, or you would do it in your own way. It's very beautiful without it, but given that me and this deck have a history, yeah, my energy is all over it. So there is that. I know this is not, I can't really fully display it because I did a candle because I love having candles, but yes, that is the mat. So set mat over there for now. Very nice tray for these cards to be in, as well as easy to get out. I love for it to be easy to get out. I know a lot of people will use like bags or different containers for their cards. I tend to like to keep them in their original box if the original box is easy to use and sturdy and beautiful, which this particular box container fulfills those for me. So that is my fave. Let me see here, make sure I got these the way I want them. All right, so let us have a look. Right off the bat, beautiful borders, and just so many dimensions to the artwork. Gorgeous. We've got a little Ogham right down in there. These are cards that you can really dig into and do a reading with just a single card and get so much out of it. Love a forest clearing. There's our cover guy, the stag. Of course, the stag. We've got a little Carnunus carving down the bottom here. So beautiful and gorgeous. And when I show you what the guidebook is like, you'll find that there's so much going on in there This really is a deck that is a gift that keeps on giving. There's the bear. See, we've got some ancient treasures, some archaeological finds featured here. Yes, me and RTO, Goddess RTO, I work with her a lot. You'll probably see a lot more of her featuring on the channel. So I'm always happy to find any influence from her in a deck. Fox. The boar. Ooh, lovely ancient treasures going on here. Once again, in these cards, everything from the plants that are featured, everything has meaning, and I always love that. The hawk. The dog. I was so happy that puppers were included in this deck. You can see right here, I have my little Keanoven here with Modron painted here, but I have a very deep connection with dogs. I've always been a dog person, so I was happy that they featured the puppers in the deck. Ooh, the owl. Look at that moon. Right there, that. I see a moon framed in that with like that color sky. I'm done. I am filled with so much ecstasy. Kitty cat. Very angry kitty cat. Crane. Frog. The raven. Swan. Wolf. I love that there's a separate card for wolf and a separate card for the puppers, because while they're related, there's different vibes. Got a little snowdrop down there in this image. So gorgeous. Beautiful wolf. Adder. Adder. And we get some fun, like, Roman writing Druid lore, I'm pretty sure, in the description for this one, so definitely well worth a look. Eagle. Ooh, we've got some, I don't want to say the wrong word, ancient dwellings. There's ancient dwellings down here, but I'm not gonna call them the wrong thing, so I'm just pointing them out because it's cool. The sow with her little brood piglets. I absolutely adore this card. Anytime I pull this one, my heart is just like, oh, nurturing. Good, I need nurturing. And cuteness. The bull. The goose. Oh, the goose. I love that we've included the goose. Ooh, we got some little brambles, little black, like wild blackberries happening there, which I love because brambles are like everywhere here in the UK. There were even a bunch of them one of the last times we went to Sherwood Forest, and they were just there, and maybe not advisable, but like I know that they're like blackberries. I ate ate a few little wild brambleberries in Sherwood Forest, and that felt like a very magical experience. But I wasn't greedy. I left plenty for the creatures. The ram. Oh, we got a little birdie there. I think that's a wren. Ties into another card later. The hare. Ooh, and I think we're doing fun things with that concept. First of all, there's bluebells here. But with the rabbits and the eggs and the Ostara fun times in this card here, which is sort of relevant to the moment. The the conjecture of men back in the day / things that might be beautiful, and I love it. The salmon. I'm filming this currently the day-ish after Pisces new moon. So shout out Pisces season, and definitely I think just everyone on a broad scale at the moment needs to be seeking the salmon of wisdom. Wisdom needed, always. The bee. The otter. It's got a little salmon back there. So cute. I just want to otters. I love otters. I just want to pet this otter. I mean, I wouldn't do that. It's a wild animal. It doesn't want me to interfere, but good Lord, it's cute. Cow. Got ourselves a beautiful Highland cow. Horse. And of course, as you see in the background, got that going off. Also, if there are stones in these images, they're stones that have carvings in them. The wren. This is very fun because this particular, I know I've pulled this card quite a few times, and the description within the book is so much fun. And then, right, let me preface this, dragons are included. And the dragons have a different border, and they are associated to the classical elements. So, absolutely fun. So we've got water dragon. Yeah, note the different border here. It's a lot more of an ancient, like, stone situation, whereas the animals have flora going off. So, water dragon. Earth dragon. I love the earth dragon's face. Ferns. Air dragon. Oh, tons of energy on this card. Of course, air dragon. You feel that air energy. And fire dragon. Classic. Oops. Sorry. Beautiful, beautiful. And in the listing final is we get the seal. Look at that rainbow. Look at that face. Oh, I love it. Now, you see that this here is green. This is because I'm going to use this to show you an example, because the next 3 cards are a special feature of this deck that is quite fun, but I have a few criticisms about execution, but we're going to get into it. So I have this green one here. Once again, the sister deck to the Druid Animal Oracle is the Druid Plant Oracle, which I will do a video on soon. Beautiful. Once again, works so beautifully with the Druid Animal Oracle, particularly on my shelf, and I keep it with my Obod Guerci, the lessons, and they all fit together really beautifully. So there's that. So this is actually from this one because I haven't completed the cards that are like this, the blank. And these, the blank ones, are meant for you to make your own card, make your own significance. So say if it's in the plant one, something plant related that's resonant with you, that would enrich your own readings. Or in the animal one, something animal related that is personal to you. Now here is my gripe. Obviously this deck, I want to say, oh yeah, so 1996. This deck is originally, in first printing, is nearly, next year will be 30 years old. So obviously we're coming from a time, this is a reprinting, but we're coming from a time period where glossy is king, which is great because these cards are very durable, very nice. You can clean them, but if you are wanting to put your own artwork here, when you have this very thick finish, I found that I had to really work around it and apply some ingenuity, because pencil isn't going to go through this. Ballpoint pen, marker is going to, you know, rub off. So what I ended up doing was painting, but of course I was a little frustrated because obviously I'm not a super great artist and I like to very carefully with a pencil sort of sketch out what I'm going to color in, whether it be in with pencils or paint. And I ended up not being able to do that and ended up just having to sort of free paint images I wanted onto them, which worked out okay. And then I put some Mod Podge over top. So far working all right, but obviously whichever method you're going to use to create your own card, you're going to want to do something that's not going to make the card feel weird, in that when you're shuffling, it's like you're sensing your energies and you're shuffling your cards. Do a pull, you don't want to be able to immediately feel that it's different from the others, because that's going to throw you off. And you also don't want any sort of finish or medium that you've used to decorate it to be rubbing off or damaging your other cards. So far what I've used worked. I'm supposing you could also, this is a thought that I had today actually, if you got a very thin piece of paper, you know, thin, and did your art very carefully and then very carefully like sort of applied it with a finish, you could do that as well. But I'm not sure what the solution to this would be, whether it would be a different finish. I don't know, but that would just be my literal one and only gripe, is that I had a few very frustrating results. So I'll let you see my cards that are special to me here. Put this green one back over. I've got Plushie. Because I have a lot of personal significance with my, you know, my stuffed animals, my plushed animals. And I've got, they're already a little sticky, not too sticky. I've got my most favoriteest dog in the world, my sweet pet boy, who wasn't able to come to the UK with me, but is living in a perfect happy home, but I miss him. He is there, and that him being in this deck is very significant to me. And my worm babies. Because if you've ever watched my channel before, you know I have a deep connection with the worms. These yellow spots are the worm eggs, and that of course has meaning to me. And I do a lot in my meditation with the worms. I like to start grove meditations in the earth with the worms and the roots and the mycelium, and work my way up into the grove. But so there's that. Let's have a gander at the book. So you get some nice keywords and the order of the animals in the book. So if you have pulled a card and you want to quickly find it there, you'll get your page number. So say we're going Adder. You also get the Gaelic name. I noticed that I put the Welsh names in the book, but I didn't do it on all of them, so I guess I moved on to another project. You know, ADHD is a fun time. You get a beautiful introduction. Some thoughts on oracles, which, by the way, this is a great beginner. If you're someone who hasn't done much with oracles or tarot, this is a deck that, whether you're a beginner or someone experienced, it's got something for you, and can help kind of guide you to a meaningful relationship with this deck. We got possible Carnunos. And then we have beautiful introductions to these. We've got our keywords. We've got, you know, we speak about meaning of the card, but then also we get lore and folk story and ancient manuscripts. ancient archaeological treasures. Just a lovely, like, perfect springboard wealth of information to give you a place. Yeah, here's me to do Welsh. A place to start to really dig into and connect with these animals. I'm gonna flip pretty quickly now. And also, this is personal because I can feel it in my bones. Because it's in grayscale, I know that I will probably color some of these borders. It's going to happen. It's who I am as a person. So, you know, that's a personal thing. I connect with my books in my own special way. So there's, yeah, so we've got, and it's pretty easy to find as well. Nice big images. Once again, that's a big thing for me with these types of decks, is I want to be able to open the guidebook and get to the card quickly. And this is very clear, easy setup, so I can always find what I'm looking for quickly. And then near the end, we've got some wonderful explanation, ideas on how to use the cards. Got a wheel year here, talking about how you can do readings using that year wheel, different spreads. That's one of the spreads. The Awen one is on the mat. Ooh. So truly a wonderful deck for beginner or experienced alike, and particularly if you're a nobody. I would recommend getting it, because sometimes when they discuss sacred animals, it will reference to this deck. So that is, it's a, once again, or if you know someone who's a nobody, here's a good gift idea. Get them this and or the plant one. So I'm gonna do a quick shuffle of these. Well, actually first, I'm gonna take out mine, because that's not gonna help. Because I like when people do deck reviews, I like when they do a sample card and read one of the descriptions. Might make the video a bit long, but it's there if anyone wants it. And I will just say that whatever card I pull, that's going to be an uplifting message for whoever is watching this video whenever they're watching it. So I'll give these a shuffle and get us a card and give us a taste of what the guidebook is like. So I pulled for us today, in this moment, whenever we're watching this, the Swan card. So let me just find that in the guidebook and I will read you what it says about the swan. The swan. Soul, love, beauty. The card depicts a scene from the Irish tale, The Dream of Angus. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. In the foreground is the lake, where a beautiful girl, you know what? Beautiful girl, whose name translates to Yewberry, changes into a swan every other year at the time of Samhain. To win her, Angus, the god of love, becomes a swan, and they both fly to his house, which is another word I'm not going to try to pronounce, now known as Newgrange and pictured on the horizon. As with many swans that appear in the old tales, there is a gold chain around Yewberry's neck. Swan brings us the qualities of soul, of love and depth, grace and beauty. Being associated with the Druid festival time of Samhain, the swan is also a bird of the threshold and represents that part of us which can travel into the other world. Drawing this card may indicate that you will receive inspiration from the other world, or that love is entering into your life. It is auspicious to draw this card if you are preparing to write a song or poem, for the swan's skin and feathers were used to make the bard's ceremonial cloak, the word I'm not sure about how to pronounce. The tradition of the swan. White swans of the wilderness, ye have flown over many lands. Tell me, have ye seen aught of Tir na Nog, where no one loses youth, or Tir na Mo, where all that is beautiful lives forever, or Boimel, that is so honey sweet with blossom? From the children of Lee, retold by Ella Young. Tir na Nog was the name of the land of eternal youth in the other world. The white swans of the wilderness were 4 children of the Tuatha De Danann, one of the earliest races to inhabit Ireland, having originally come from the northern Greek Isles. They became the fairy folk, the Sidhe, who lived underground in the hollow hills when they were driven there by the invasion of the Malaysians. Although the Dananns were a mythological race, history and myth have become inextricably entwined, and there are indeed traces of trade and travel between the lands of ancient Greece and the British Isles. This may explain the use of Pythagorean mathematics in the construction of the old stone circles, and the many similarities in Greek and Celtic mythology and philosophy. In Greek mythology, the swan was Apollo's bird and was often pictured singing to the lyre. Its association with grace, beauty, and the feminine has been so strong that it has been associated with song in the Celtic tradition. We talk still of a swan song, the last performance, work of art, or gesture made shortly before a person dies. Such an act is possibly called a swan song because the swan represents the human soul in the other world. The swan is one of the 4 most frequently mentioned birds in the old tales, along with the raven, crane, and eagle. Whereas the crane is often pictured carrying the soul to the other world, the swan depicts the soul itself. For this reason, the swan is often associated with the time of Samhain, the gateway between the realm of the living and that of the dead, the inner and outer worlds, the old and new years. To a lesser extent, the gateway of Midsummer Eve, during which time it is easier to contact the fairy realm, is also associated with the swan through the European tales of maidens who turn into swans at this time. The swans of Lear. In Ireland in the old days, if you saw a swan, you would say, "My blessing with you, white swan, for the sake of Lear's children." Lear was the king of the Tuatha De Danann, who had 4 beautiful children, 3 sons and a daughter. They were loved by all except their stepmother, whose name begins with an A and I'm afraid of pronouncing, who hated them. As they were bathing, she struck each of them with a druidic wand and turned them into 4 white swans. She told them that they would remain as swans for 900 years until they heard a bell tolling, and the news that a prince from the north would marry a princess from the south. They were still able to speak and sing as humans, though, and their desolate father, Lear, came to the shore of the lake to beg them to come home with him. But Conn, one of his sons, told him, "May good fortune be on the threshold of your door from this time and forever, but we cannot cross it, for we have the hearts of wild swans, and we must fly in the dusk and feel the water moving under our bodies. We must hear the lonesome cries of the night. We have the voices only of the children you knew. We have the songs you taught us. That is all. Gold crowns are red in the firelight, but redder and fairer is the dawn." 900 years passed, by which time Ireland had become Christian. The swans heard the bells of St. Caernach's church and came to the saint who took care of them. Soon after, a princess of Munster married King El of Connacht, and the 4 children of Lear were released from A's spell. But as their swan skins fell from them, They became humans 900 years old and immediately died of old age. St. Carnock buried them together in an earth mound, with a tombstone bearing their names in Ogham. Swan Maidens. The Dream of Angus also tells of humans who become swans, 151 women, each wearing a silver chain, except Ewberry, the tallest and wearing a gold chain, who on alternate Samhains gather at a lake to transform themselves into swans. The love god Angus, on seeing Ewberry, calls her to him, promising to return her into the lake. With her into the lake. He puts his arms around her and makes love to her in the form of a swan. They then fly together to Newgrange, having first circled the lake 3 times, lulling everyone to sleep for 3 days and 3 nights with their ethereal song. The Ulster demigod, starts with a C, is strongly associated with swans. A flock of them appeared at his conception and reappear frequently throughout his adulthood. On Samhain, his chariot gets stuck in a marsh, and he frees it with their help. In another story, he is pursued by 2 women who become swans the more effectively to chase him. The swan's graceful form clearly connects it to the goddess and the qualities of beauty and femininity, which is why the theme of maidens turned into swans occurs in folktales throughout the world, the most well-known being enacted in the ballet Swan Lake. But the theme of the maiden turning into a swan is also an allegory of death, the swan representing the soul, which is usually seen as feminine. So, as you can see, beautiful, like almost a full chapter of information and ideas and folklore for each card. Oh, speaking of birds, I hear birds outside. Spring is in the air. Anyway, fantastic deck. Absolutely wonderful. If you have any interest in Druidry or animals or anything like that, I 100% recommend it. So that will be all from me today. I hope that you have a beautiful, blessed, inspiration, awe-filled day. I also hope that the bird song outside is picked up in this recording. And I shall talk to you later. Bye!